What's going on, everyone? This is Mike Works with Kev and Shelz. I'm Shelz.
Kev, 8 Count Sports, 8 Count Sports. What's going on, bro? What's going on, bro?
Chilling, man. How you, bro?
Yo, I'm exhausted. It was a whole great fight weekend.
Crazy week.
I'm from Friday. We got an early start.
Depends on who you ask about great. It was a lot of fights, but depends on who you ask.
Oh, I hear you.
But you're right, though. This weekend was jam packed. Let's start with last night's Madison Square Garden UFC 309. This was the heavyweight bout that we all complained about. But of course, we all sat down and watched, the GOAT versus the GOAT, the MMA GOAT in Jon Jones versus the heavyweight GOAT in Stipe. What do you think about the fight, Kev? Tell us what you thought about it.
The results? I mean, the actual action. Okay, well, we already covered how I felt about the fight going in. I wasn't crazy about it. Obviously, because I think we all collectively felt like Tom Aspinall should have been in the ring Saturday night with Jon Jones, but we got Stipe. It was an interesting fight. Stipe paid his dues, and I one term I didn't use was undeserved. I would never want to put that label on Stipe after all he's done for the sport. But what we saw was we received confirmation that the wrong guy was in the ring Saturday night. That's how I feel about it.
We definitely received confirmation. And you know what's interesting about the fight? We received confirmation, but I would say this, though. Let's take time to give Stipe his credit, bro. This man, in his 40s, coming off of about 3 years since he last been in the ring. 3.5. The last time he was in the octagon, he suffered a KO from Ngannou, who's the guy
champion of the world. The heavyweight champion of the world.
His shadow still looms over the heavyweight division at the UFC. His shadow still looms over the heavyweight division. Yeah, and the last time Stipe stepped into the octagon, he suffered a KO to that man. And he was still able to go toe-to-toe with Jon Jones, who everyone considers the MMA GOAT, for 3 rounds. Think about this. When Jon Jones first stepped into the octagon as a heavyweight, he fought Ngannou, who everyone said was basically of course, because Ngannou wasn't there anymore, was the best fighter within the heavyweight division. And Jon Jones took him down in 30 seconds. And it took Jon Jones, who had some more experience, 3 rounds to figure out how to get Stipe out of there. So we got to give Stipe his credit just because he was able to, and I know everybody's there's gonna be crazy comments, push Jon Jones to the test. Like this was Jon Jones' most challenging test in the heavyweight division thus far. And we're not saying this is not the hardest person he could fight. Of course, that's in Tom Aspinall. But since he stepped into the heavyweight division, this has been his most challenging fight. And we gotta give Stipe credit for that performance. The fact that he was having this much, I was giving credit to Stipe, but the other half is, if Jon Jones had this much trouble with Stipe, who showed why he was the most decorated heavyweight in UFC's history, Tom Aspinall could be a real problem for this man.
Possibly.
Real problem.
But for this man. The point is, we should have found that out Saturday night.
We definitely should have found out Saturday night.
You know what I mean?
Definitely should have found out Saturday night. I can't argue that.
We give Jones credit for the win. I'm not taking that away. We've never seen Stipe beat like that, and it was a phenomenal performance. I think we can all agree. But at the end of the day, quality, the quality of opponents. When we talk about the pound for pound list, and I can't wait to that episode. We talk about, and the UFC is notorious for having the best fight the best. Hopefully this will segue into that and not anything, another sideshow. Hopefully we can get what we need, because the UFC they don't give sideshows usually when it comes to this. When it comes to titles. So what do you think is next?
But Jon Jones is a crazy exception. UFC wouldn't do a lot of things until Jon Jones is in the equation. here's the funny part about that. What I hope is next, is what we all hope is next, what should be next, for the sake of the heavyweight division, is Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Yeah. And it seemed like that was a possibility when, after Jon Jones' victory, third round TKO of Stipe, it seemed that we might get that when Jon Jones vaguely answered, hopefully we get with enough negotiations, we'll give the fans what they want. But here's the thing with Jon Jones. I feel Jon Jones is so much in his head and delusional. He feels what he wants is what the people want. So he wants Alex Pereira, so he thinks the people want Alex Pereira as well. I think he thinks he knows what the people wants. And what makes me even say that even more is when Jon Jones doubled down on saying that he wants Pereira. But what's confusing even more is during that same press conference, Dana White says he should be fighting Tom Aspinall. I don't know what's going on. I hope it's Tom Aspinall. It could be Alex Pereira, but I definitely hope it's Tom Aspinall. What do you think?
I feel you. I have a slight. I'm on board with you. I kind of get off a little bit early before I get to that result. I feel the same way how I feel in regards to Canelo Alvarez. In regards to this,
okay.
I don't. If you want to have a world tour and fight who you want, that's great. Like Jon Jones could fight whoever he wants to fight, just like Canelo.
But give up the belt.
My thing, there you go.
Yeah.
Give up the strap. There is a guy that is clearly the heavyweight champion, number one contender for the heavyweight belt. Clearly, that shouldn't have to wait. His track record, he shouldn't have to wait. So if you want to fight, I heard BMF one. If you want to fight Alex Pereira and drop weight and do that, go ahead. If you're gonna fight Pereira, I would hope that is not for the heavyweight championship. That would be my only kickback. If you want to, I don't mind. I'd like to see Jon Jones, Alex Pereira. I ain't gonna say and hold you.
I would love to say,
at the same time, I think that the next heavyweight championship fight should be with Tom Aspinall, no matter what it is.
Who's on the other side of the octagon?
Tom Aspinall.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So moving on, the co-main, which a lot of people thought would have been fight of the night. I would say round of the night.
What's the fight of the night?
The lightweight bout between
Oliveira and Chandler. That wasn't the fight of the night?
Arguably, yes, but I think what made the fight of the night was the 5th round.
Okay, go ahead.
I believe if all 5 rounds went the way, which is basically Oliveira finding some way to get Chandler on the ground and keeping him there, if that happened in the 5th round, it would have been a nice fight. But fight of the night, I think that 5th round is what got them their bonuses.
Okay. All right.
The fact that we seen because basically for 4 rounds Chandler was basically was getting dominated by Oliveira, and in that 5th round it seemed like he was gonna change the whole script. And with the backflips, which is like a callback to their first time when they fought, and he did it twice this time, bruh. That was the round of the night. But it was a nice fight. Ended by decision with Oliveira winning. This is now it's 2-0. Oliveira got 2-0 over Chandler. But like I said, it was a nice fight. What do you think, Kev?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. The 5th round stood out so much. That was great. I remember going into the 5th saying, "It's 4-0." You are right. The 5th round was so exciting because Chandler showed he went the full 5 rounds after being on the ground and competitively dominated. He was being competitively. The fight was competitive, but he was being dominated. He was being dominated for the fight. He showed that he can still fight with the 2-year layoff, and I believe he's about 36, 37 right now. So he still looks sharp. But Oliveira, man, oh man, smooth operator, bro. That's a smooth operator right there, bro.
That's what like he never lost his composure. Oh
man, I enjoy watching this dude fight. I enjoy watching him fight. He's not dominant to the point where he just like Khabib, where it's just the result ahead of time. He has there's a bit of vulnerability in him, but his skill set and talent is just watching it all. Like he could go down, and his willingness to trade and exchange, and at the same time he never seems to be overwhelmed or flustered. Even in bad moments, he still has the composure. Like he is a jewel, a gem to watch. I know a few shows ago, I think maybe a year ago, you mentioned that he's the superstar of the sport, and I was kind of like, I enjoy watching it. He might be my favorite fighter to watch. I'm sitting there watching Saturday night, and I'm just like, this is.
He's my favorite fighter too, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
This is cool. This is cool. I really appreciate Charles Oliveira. So let me ask you. So let's get into it. What do you think is next for him?
Well, here's the funny thing. I had while you talking, a thought rumors in my mind. It seems to me like Charles Oliveira. Do you think Charles Oliveira is the champion level gatekeeper? Because the only two people that beat him in that division are the two people that's facing each other right now. That's gonna face each other. Arman versus the champ, and could be 2.0 Islam. So when Oliveira and Chandler walked into the octagon last night, it was already under the assumption that if Chandler beats Oliveira, then his next fight would be for the belt. That was already like something in the air. Like that was like it would be him saying like it would be a legit stab that he's ready, that his next fight should be for the belt. There's no one left for Oliveira to beat within that division.
I do agree that he's I do agree that on some levels he's a bit of a gatekeeper, but the reason why I don't give him the stamp of gatekeeper, because I think
I don't give him the stamp. I'm just asking. It's like he seems like he's.
Oh, you see? If you beat him, you're in. Oh no. If you beat him, you're in. Yeah, definitely. But he's the next guy up. He's been the next guy up for a while. It's been some freakish things that's happened. I think he got a cut. He was scheduled to fight Islam, got cut. Yeah. Got a bad cut, and then because of Islam taking a replacement fight, Oliveira ended up fighting Arman, and that was like a split decision loss. I think the Arman fight was a very competitive. From my recollection, it wasn't. I don't believe there was a clear winner. I think it was about a split, wasn't it? I don't want to see him fight anybody. I don't want to see him fight Gaethje. Gaethje already lost to Holloway. That pushes him further back. Poirier already fought for the belt. He seems like he's on his way out. Obviously, let's jump. You're right. I would want to see him fight for the belt next. And I'll segue into for Chandler. He mentioned fighting Holloway for the BMF.
For the BMF belt, and that's exactly what he should be doing. That's exactly what he should be doing. He's the. If you still on BMF, BMF is those guys who they never disappoint the fans, and he's definitely one. Like when he loses in a spectacular way. Chandler may not walk away with the official victory, but he walks away with the moral victory. Like you said, segued into the original Iron Mike.
The one that started our weekend off.
Against Jake Paul on Netflix. Probably one of the most watched boxing bouts in boxing history because of the platform it was on.
They got us.
I'm gonna say it.
They got us.
I want to say they got us because it wasn't a pay-per-view. It was on Netflix. It wasn't a pay-per-view. But I would say this. You don't gotta prove nothing more. You don't gotta prove anything more, Mike. Your legacy's laid. You don't gotta prove anything more.
You get that money.
No, I mean,
I don't think it's a
get that money. But watch this. Get the money, but next time, let us know it's an exhibition fight. Don't tell us it's a real on the record bout.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
You was a man.
That's less interest. So. You don't. Stop.
So you think?
What are you promoting the fight or not, man? What are you doing? What are you doing? Nah, guys. Look, this may not be the realest fight exactly. You may not exactly want to spend you might want to watch us on YouTube. You might want to catch us on YouTube and not. Why don't you just say that? Why don't you just say, man? You want to make this look as real as possible. People getting slapped at the weigh-ins, all of that. You doing all of that. My mom's hit me up talking about this. Yo, did you see how Tyson slapped? Who is this kid? My mom. She never heard of J. Cole. Who's this kid that got slapped by Tyson? Tyson is fighting. My mom's sitting there watching Netflix. I'm like, yo, they got everybody. They got it. You know what?
It was a swindle. So you basically saying this was a swindle.
This was great. This is amazing. There's a great job by J. Cole.
Okay.
Great
what do you
job
think about the actual
Tyson.
fight, though?
Huh?
That's the promotion. What do you think about the actual fight? Kudos, you're right. Kudos on the promotion. But what do you think about the actual fight, Kev?
We saw reality. It was reality. It was, as me watching as a fan, it's the second in the first round where Tyson starts to throw and Jake Paul starts to move and then hold and then move. and Tyson can't really move with him, I'm like, yeah, I hope this referee is competent to stop this fight if Tyson starts to really get laced up later on. The game plan was to stay on the outside. He's 6'1", use his jab, and Tyson's not explosive to come forward. That was apparent midway through the first round.
Like that's what I was waiting for, because I was watching all of these. Speaking of YouTube, I was watching all of these clips of my man Tyson training on this YouTube, and he's going in, and that's what I was looking for at least one time.
The targets are stationary, holding the pads. He's fighting a guy that's holding the pads that's right in front of him. That's different than a guy that's moving, jabbing, holding, doing the whole shebang.
But
and a guy, let me say this, bro. Let me say this. And against a guy, Shelz, that can actually fight. You know, I think the biggest misconception I think the biggest con job that's being done here for Jake Paul, and I don't want to, he's promoting this well. The first title that we give to Jake Paul is YouTuber. No, this guy is a professional fighter who spars with professional world champions. He's sparring with John Pascal, and he's been doing this for a little while, and who knows how long he was doing this prior to really coming out. So he's legit. Really called the nice little lane for himself. He's called the nice little lane. Yeah, he just fought Tommy Fury, a professional fighter, 4 rounds, and it went nip and tuck. That is a professional fighter. The undercard, or you want to call it the co-main of the Tyson
the co-main.
It's the co-main. You call it the co-main? Call it the co-main.
Yeah, it was the co-main.
No. Serrano against Taylor, part 2. Part 2. We've seen a lot of controversy, a lot of back and forth, a lot of... What did you think of this fight? What did you think of the result? And importantly, who did you actually think won? Before we go any further, let's put it in perspective. It was Taylor that got the win for the second time, possibly closing the door on this rivalry. Tell me your thoughts on it.
Like the first I felt was a toss-up. People are screaming that it was a robbery. I don't think it was a robbery. It was a toss-up. I'd have been happy with either one. The only reason why what my personal feelings against Taylor was that I felt that the ref should have deducted those headbutts is what really, I think, gave it that unfair advantage, cutting the eye of Shannon.
Impacted the fight.
It really did impact the fight, and even with the point deduction, I think the fight was so close that with that point deduction, it should have been a draw. That's my take from it.
We watched it in the same spot. We went out and we watched this fight. And the beauty of it was we got to watch it. It was a noisy event, so we got to watch it without the influence of announcers. So I think sometimes announcers have a way of kind of swaying opinions. So I didn't hear the commentary. I love Roy Jones. I didn't hear the commentary. So I watched the fight. When I watched the fight, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yes, the headbutts did take precedent, and there was a deduction, which made me think, okay, this fight is a little closer. But people were pointing to the numbers after the fight, and Serrano landed, I think, 100 more shots and things like that. But bro, there's punches and there's punches. When I watched the fight, to me, I felt like I didn't know who won at the end of the fight, because I really felt like when Taylor hit Serrano, she got more reaction. When she hit Serrano, there was some headbutts, there was some I feel like she initiated the fight more, and when she landed, it was more reaction. Her punches, I felt like she set the tone for the fight. Now Serrano's punches, they were there. She seemed more reactive and more reactive, and more her punches didn't really do. It felt like she wasn't really moving the needle for me. Like she was there and she was competitive, but to me, Taylor's punches, I felt like her punches were more significant. You call something significant strikes. Visually watching the fight, I felt that her punches were more significant. The term robbery, if a fight is competitive, there's a difference between a robbery and debatable. Robbery and debatable. If somebody's robbed, that means they clearly lost the fight. They won like 2 rounds. Like this is like, and somehow they got, that's a robbery. And a fight is debatable, that means it could have went either way. There's no robbery in a debatable.